DD India.
You're live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Now, India's voice to the world. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, coming up in the next hour. Next round of hostage release announced. 6 hostages, including Arbel Yehood, will be released this week. Israel allows Gazans to return home in the north. US-Colombia waged tariff war after Petro blocks Trump's deportation flights. Washington and Bogota imposed 25% tariffs on imports. US stops issuing visas in Colombia. Today marks the 80th anniversary of the liberation of Nazi concentration camp Auschwitz in Poland. EU chief says Europe will never forget the victims. Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko wins a 7th term in office. West announces poll results. EU says will maintain sanctions against Belarus. South Korea submits preliminary report of Jeju plane crash to UN Aviation Agency and authorities of the US, France and Thailand. And in women's Spanish Supercar, Barcelona beats Real Madrid 5-0 to clinch 4th consecutive title. And on to the details now. The continuation of Israel-Gaza ceasefire deal. 6 more hostages will be freed this week following successful negotiations with Hamas. It was announced by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Sunday, and in return allowed Palestinians to return to the north of Gaza from Monday. Now, 3 hostages would be released on Thursday and another 3 on Saturday, including Arbel Yehood, an Israeli soldier, Agam Berger. Under the ceasefire deal, Yehood should have been among the first 2 groups of hostages released on January 19th and January 25th, but she was not freed. Israel had demanded that its female civilians be released before the captive female soldiers, 4 of whom were released on Saturday. This development comes on the heels of a previously announced deal to release 33 hostages over 6 weeks in exchange for hundreds of Palestinians imprisoned by Israel.
For us, it's one long day since October the 7th. And in this one long day, what keeps us is the big hope and faith that they will come back to us healthy, and that's what keep us alive and keep us in focus.
Meanwhile, the families of Israeli hostages freed over the weekend thanked US President Donald Trump on Sunday for the release of their daughters from Gaza. The 4 soldiers, Karina Aref, Daniela Gilboa, Nama Levy and Liri Albag, were released by Hamas in Gaza on Saturday. The young women had all been stationed at an observation post on the edge of Gaza when Hamas overran their base and abducted them during the October 7, 2023 attack on Israel that precipitated the conflict. Their release in exchange for the freeing of 200 Palestinian prisoners was part of a truce.
A very special thanks goes to President Trump for his unwavering support. Because of your powerful actions, we have our lives back. You made this deal possible after so many months where it felt like all hope was gone. Our hope rests with you for all of the hostages to return.
We're now a little more than 24 hours after they came to us. Their general medical condition is well. We are performing, we're happy, of course, and we have time to perform more in-depth medical tests. We have a detailed protocol for every medical condition that we thought we could encounter, and we're going through things that we have to do for each and every one of them.
Well, U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth spoke with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Sunday in the Pentagon chief's first call with a foreign official since being sworn in. Hegseth and Netanyahu discussed the importance of advancing mutual security interests and priorities, especially in the face of persistent threats. In the statement, the Secretary has stressed that the United States is fully committed under President Trump's leadership to ensure that Israel has the capabilities it needs to defend itself. Well, the deal between Lebanon and Israel had been extended until February 18th as Israel missed a previous deadline to pull troops. The deal ended Israel's military campaign in Lebanon against Iranian-backed Hezbollah. Under the 60-day deal, the Lebanese army was to deploy alongside UN peacekeepers in the south as the Israeli army withdrew. In a statement, White House said that the United States would negotiate with Israel and Lebanon for the return of Lebanese prisoners captured since the October 7, 2023 Hamas attack on Israel. Lebanese Prime Minister Najib Mikati on Monday said it would extend implementation of a ceasefire agreement with Israel until 18th of February. And U.S. President Donald Trump has ordered tariffs and visa restrictions on Colombia after Bogota turned away two U.S. military aircraft transporting migrants being deported under Trump's immigration crackdown. The retaliatory measures include imposing 25% tariffs on all Colombian goods coming into the U.S., which will go up to 50% in 1 week, a travel ban and visa revocations on Colombian government officials, and emergency treasury, banking and financial sanctions. Trump further added that he would also direct enhanced border inspections of Colombian nationals and cargo. Colombia, America's third largest trading partner in Latin America, swiftly responded, threatening a 50% tariff on U.S. goods in a tit-for-tat move. However, President Petro later deleted the social media post and announced that he had instructed his Minister for External Trade to raise tariffs on imports from the U.S. to 25%. Well, the U.S. president declared illegal immigration a national emergency and imposed a sweeping crackdown since taking office last Monday. He directed the U.S. military to help with border security, issued a broad ban on asylum, and took steps to restrict citizenship for children born on U.S. soil. And for more, we have Anil Thomas joining us on this. Well, Anil, how do you assess the impact of President Trump's tariffs and visa restrictions on Colombia now that Colombia also has taken a U-turn?
Well, good morning, Lepakshi. Very surprising. This particular move, a South American friendly country, one of your largest trade partners now turning into a foe, does not go down well. Purely look at it in terms of numbers. South America, if you're looking at illegal immigration or tariffs for that matter, the first two things that Trump said was tariffs against Mexico, Canada and China. But look at the surprise move when it comes to picking on a foe. He's turned a friendly country, one of the largest trading partners in South America that America has, into a foe now. This particular move, even in terms of illegal immigrants, Mexico has close to 4 million illegal immigrants as compared to, say, little under 2 lakh illegal immigrants from Colombia. You pick on a country like Colombia, it's going to have a huge repercussion looking at the trade that these two countries share. Close to 60 billion is the trade between US and Colombia. And US trusted ally in the South American continent has been Colombia. They have worked together on many issues like illegal immigration, especially when it comes to trafficking of drugs. Even when it comes to friendly relations between the two countries, it's been always good. But this particular move could jeopardize things, because you see the South American countries that are coming together. You've got Brazil supporting Colombia, and you've got many countries that will step in with regards to this move. What's the point of fiction? The point of fiction is using army planes to deport Colombians, or for that matter, any people from any country. Some similar kind of issue was raised by Brazil too, when they have deported close to 88 illegal immigrants from Brazil in the United States of America. They were handcuffed according to the media reports that we hear, and I think that doesn't go down well. This particular, tariff, either way is being imposed, will have a drastic effect, because Americans love coffee, and close to 22 to 27% of coffee comes from Colombia. So one needs to understand that, there could be a sharp jump in the prices of coffee, especially in America, and that will not go down well with the common people there, because at the end of the day, at the end, Trump's campaign has been about bringing the cost of living down for the Americans. And I think the direct impact that the common man could see could be a sharp rise in the coffee prices, because almost 27% of coffee comes from Colombia.
All right, Anil, of course, broader implications of the measures taken right now. Thank you so much for all these details. Meanwhile, Trump's crackdown on illegal immigration expanded over the weekend, with several federal agencies carrying out respective operations in different parts of the U.S. Immigration and Customs enforcement officers and other federal agents conducted arrests in Chicago on Sunday. A Justice Department official said that the first arrest in Chicago involved an immigrant living illegally in the U.S. who had killed a 19-year-old woman while driving under the influence. ICE made 538 arrests nationwide on Thursday, signaling an uptick from averages over previous years. The agency's daily average for arrest was 311 in fiscal year 2024 and 467 in the fiscal year 2023. While in Colorado, the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration detained around 50 undocumented migrants, many reportedly linked to Venezuela's Tren Aragua gang. The arrests were made during a raid at a makeshift club in Adams County on Sunday. The operation, conducted in collaboration with federal and local authorities, also led to the seizure of drugs, weapons, and cash. Also in Puerto Rico, ICE, with the support of Homeland Security, raided a building targeting undocumented migrants. They also made arrests in Puerto Rico's San Juan and outside a Home Depot in Tucson, Arizona. Meanwhile, over 1,000 migrants, including several Venezuelans, embarked on a journey from the southern Mexican town of Tapachula towards the United States on Sunday, even after several had their appointments to seek asylum cancelled following the inauguration of Donald Trump. Migrants say their appointments should be rescheduled and be given an opportunity to enter. They added that earlier they had permits to travel, but post-Trump's crackdown orders, they're left with no option but to travel by foot. While reacting to the whole crackdown operation, the White House border czar Tom Homan has said that the public should expect more arrests in the coming weeks. Tom Homan added that the operation was focused on individuals deemed a national security or public safety threat. Asked whether immigration and custom enforcement officers would be entering typically off-limit spaces such as schools and churches, Homan said it would be determined on a case-by-case basis.
If you're in the country illegally, you're on the table, because it's not okay to, violate laws of this country. You got to remember, every time you enter this country illegally, you violated a crime under Title 8, United States Code 1325. It's a crime. So if you're in the country illegally, you got a problem. ICE officers should have discretion to decide if a national security threat or a public safety threat is in one of these facilities, then there should be an option for them to make the arrest.
And still to come in DD India News Hour. Russian troops capture Novosilka in Donetsk, released drone footage of the occupied village. UN warns of a regional war as Congolese rebels capture Goma and thousands flee as tensions escalate with Rwanda. And Los Angeles fires near full containment as rain brings flood and mudslide risk. Trump orders FEMA review.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the Economic Brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Kurana, and moving on, Belarusian leader Alexander Lukashenko is on track to extend his 31-year rule with a massive win in a presidential election. Belarus's autocrat Alexander Lukashenko, in power since 1994, with his opponents in prison or exiled, the 70-year-old ruler appeared to have won 87.6% of the vote. Lukashenko has orchestrated a ruthless crackdown on opponents since huge protests against him in 2020. This time around, the candidates picked to run against him actually campaigned in his favor. The vote took place 5 years into a wave of heightened repression in Belarus, during which time rights groups say the country has jailed more than 1,200 political prisoners. Well, West cries foul over Belarus election as Lukashenko wins 7th term. European politicians said the vote was neither free nor fair because independent media are banned in the former Soviet state and all leading opposition figures have been sent to penal colonies or forced to flee abroad. Polish Foreign Minister Radoslaw Sikorski expressed mock surprise that only 87.6% of the electorate appeared to have backed Lukashenko. Also, German Foreign Minister called it a bitter day for all those who long for freedom and democracy. While on Sunday, the European Union dismissed Belarus's election as illegitimate and warned of new sanctions against the regime. Lukashenko shrugged off the criticism as meaningless and said he did not care whether the West recognized the election. Well, Russian troops have taken control of the village of Velika Novoselka in Ukraine's eastern Donetsk region, the state-run TASS news agency reported on Sunday, citing the defense ministry. Drone footage released by Russia's defense ministry on Sunday shows soldiers waving Russian flags atop shattered buildings and in debris-strewn streets. This comes hours after Russia announced the capture of the town of Zelin, also in Donetsk. And Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky replaced the commander overseeing the defense of Pokrovsk for the third time in less than a year. Announcing the change in his nightly address, Zelensky emphasized that Drapyatsy's leadership would unite combat operations with enhanced brigade training. Drapyatsi replaces Major General Andriy Natov, who shifts to a key role in training and communication. Meanwhile, Russian troops press forward in Donetsk, encircling Pokrovsk from the south and targeting supply routes, heightening the stakes in Ukraine's defense. Well, 27 January 2025 marks the 80th anniversary of the liberation of the Nazi German concentration and extermination camp Auschwitz-Birkenau. This year's observance is particularly poignant as survivors, now in their advanced years, continue to bear witness to atrocities they endured. The Auschwitz-Birkenau State Museum expects around 50 survivors to attend Monday's events. They will be joined by heads of state, including King Charles and other European royalty, Emmanuel Macron of France and German President Frank-Walter Steinmeier. Remembering the victims of Holocaust, EU Chief Ursula von der Leyen said that as the last survivors fade, it is the duty as Europeans to remember the unspeakable crimes and to honor the memories of the victims. And now we get you details on Auschwitz liberation. Auschwitz was the most notorious of the extermination camps and has become a symbol of Nazi Germany's genocide of 6 million European Jews. 1 million Jews died at the site between 1940 and 45, along with more than 100,000 non-Jews. It was created in 1940 using barracks in Oswiecim, southern Poland. Its name was Germanized into Auschwitz by the Nazis. The first 728 Polish political prisoners arrived on June 14th of that year. On January 17, 1945, as Soviet troops advanced, the SS forced 60,000 emaciated prisoners to walk west in what became known as the Death March. From January 21st to 26th, the Germans blew up the Birkenau gas chambers and crematoria and withdrew as Soviet troops approached. On January 27th, Soviet troops arrived, finding 7,000 survivors. The day of its liberation has been designated by the United Nations as Holocaust Memorial Day. Well, South Korea's authorities investigating last month's Jeju Air plane crash have submitted a preliminary accident report to the UN Aviation Agency and to the authorities of the United States, France and Thailand. The report said investigation into the deadliest air disaster on the country's soil remains ongoing. Investigation is focused on the roller bird strike and involving an analysis of the engines and the localizer landing guidance structure. The International Civil Aviation Organization, the UN agency, requires significant investigators to produce a preliminary report within 30 days of the accident and encourages the final report to be made public within 12 months. Well, Congolese rebels said on Sunday they had taken Goma, the biggest city in the east of the mineral-rich country, after a lighting advance that has forced thousands of people to flee. Rebel leader Colonel Nanga announced the city's capture, demanding government troops surrender by 3 a.m. The rebels accuse Congo of failing to ensure peace, while Kinshasa blames Rwanda for fueling conflict. As M23 fighters closed in, power outages plunged Goma into darkness, roads were blocked and the airport rendered unusable. The UN warned the cities trapped, fearing the violence could ignite a regional war. Thousands have fled while flood aid has been suspended. Meanwhile, diplomatic ties between Congo and Rwanda are severe, escalating tensions. The US and allies condemned Rwanda's alleged involvement, which Kigali denies. And Kenya's President William Ruto on Sunday called on the leaders of Rwanda and Congo to heed the call of peace as tensions in eastern Congo threaten regional stability. Ruto announced plans for an extraordinary summit by East African community leaders to address the crisis.
I call on the parties to the Luanda process on Eastern DRC and appeal specifically to my brothers, President Felix Tshisekedi and President Paul Kagame, both of whom I have had the occasion to speak to this evening, to heed the call for peace from the people of our region and the international community. We will be convening an extraordinary East African Community Summit within the next 48 hours to facilitate and to deliberate on this crisis and chart a way forward.
Well, South Africa's ambassador to the UN, Martha Joyini, on Sunday paid tribute to 9 of its peacekeepers killed in clashes with M23 rebels in eastern Congo. Speaking before the UN Security Council, Joyini praised their immense bravery under relentless attacks and reaffirmed South Africa's commitment to promoting peace and stability in the conflict-ridden region. The tribute came during an urgent Security Council meeting to address escalating violence in eastern Congo, where M23 rebels continue to advance, threatening stability.
It is with profound regret that this meeting is taking place at a time when a number of peacekeepers have lost their lives and many others injured in the line of duty. 9 of these fallen peacekeepers are South Africans who showed immense bravery amidst relentless attacks from the M23. These attacks from the M23 are in violation of the ceasefire that was brokered through the Luanda process.
Well, 3 active fires in Los Angeles neared full containment as the region receives much-needed rain that has produced flood and mudslide warnings lasting through Monday. California fire data marked the Palisades fire at 87% containment, the Eaton fire at 95% containment, and the Hugs fire at 92% containment. Meanwhile, U.S. President Donald Trump issued an executive order establishing a review council to evaluate the Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA, stopping short of instant action to shut or reshape the country's lead disaster response agency. Trump called on the council to hold its first public meeting within 90 days and submit a report to him within 180 days of the first meeting. Well, the eruption of Mount Laki Laki in East Flores, Indonesia has displaced many, prompting a large-scale recovery effort by the authorities. Around 200 families have relocated to temporary housing provided by the government, which began preparing these shelters. These families were evacuated from 2 villages after the volcanic eruption caused significant disruption and posed a serious safety risk. The eruption had been a significant challenge for the region, but the coordinated response from authorities has been instrumental in providing immediate relief. Well, the flood water submerged cars and buildings in the western French city of Rennes as Storm Herminia reached parts of western France. The French weather service, Météo France, warned of gusts reaching in the speed of 150 kilometers per hour with high waves along the coast of Brittany. The authorities have issued an orange alert, the second highest for 10 departments, as the storm waves moves northwards across France through Monday. The storm follows closely after Storm Eowyn, which recently hit Highland and Northern Ireland, causing 1 death, widespread power outages and hundreds of flight cancellations. And Storm Eowyn brings record-breaking winds to Ireland and the UK with gusts of up to 114 meters per hour. A building in the Greater Manchester partially collapsed due to strong winds brought about by the storm. Over 1,000 flights were cancelled at British and Irish airports, around 20% of scheduled flights. The authorities have advised people living across Scotland and parts of northern England not to travel. And now let's take a look at other stories making news around the world. Iran has unveiled its largest ever drone. The drone can carry up to 12 bombs and will be used in border operations. Its primary intended use will be in border operations, providing Iran with an enhanced ability to monitor and secure its borders as well as carry out precision strikes. The drone's large payload capacity and long-range capabilities make it a formidable tool for both surveillance and military operations. The Saudi Arabian Islamic Arts Biennale displays the first set of art in its exhibition. The exhibit, being held in Jeddah, offers a rare opportunity for visitors to view the Kiswah in its entirety, as it is traditionally only seen by a select few in Mecca, the most sacred site in Islam, aiming to foster a deeper understanding and appreciation of Islamic heritage and craftsmanship. 18 countries are currently competing for the prestigious title of the Pastry Cup competition in France. This high-profile event brings together the finest pastry chefs from around the globe to showcase their skills and creativity in front of a discerning panel of experts. Participants are tested on various aspects of the craft, including sugarwork, chocolate artistry, pastry dough, and dessert presentation. A 6-legged robot dog completed a series of tests in the ice sheet area in Antarctica, a breakthrough which marks an innovative step in using advanced technology for polar scientific research. The robot dog demonstrated its ability to walk steadily on ice and snow while carrying a box on its back without slipping or falling, aiming to enable collaborative operations that will further enhance the capabilities of polar scientific expeditions. And still to come, indeed India News Hour. Marking the successful culmination of NCC Republic Day Camp 2025, Prime Minister Modi to interact with NCC cadets in the national capital. Uttarakhand all set to implement the Uniform Civil Code, making it the first state to make it a law. And Mahakumbh draws over 132 million devotees ahead of Amrit Snan amid cold wave and fog. Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Khurana. Time now for a quick recap of the headlines. Next round of hostage release announced. 6 hostages, including Arbal Yehood, will be released this week. Israel allows Gazans to return home in the north. Tariff wars begin after U.S. planes deporting migrants turned back by Colombia. Washington and Bogota imposed 25% tariffs on imports. U.S. stops issuing visas in Colombia. Today marks the 80th anniversary of the liberation of Nazi concentration camps, Auschwitz in Poland. EU chief says Europe will never forget the victims. Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko wins a 7th term in office. West announces poll results. EU says will maintain sanctions against Belarus. South Korea submits preliminary report of Jeju plane crash to UN Aviation Agency and the authorities of the US, France and Thailand. And in women's Spanish supercar, Barcelona beats Real Madrid 5-0 to clinch 4th consecutive title. And India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi to address the annual National Cadet Corps PM rally today at around 4:30 p.m. IST at the Cariappa Parade Ground in Delhi. A total of 2,361 NCC cadets participated in the Republic Day camp this year, which included 917 girl cadets, which was the highest ever participation by girl cadets. The participation of these cadets in the PM rally will mark the successful culmination of the month-long NCC Republic Day Camp 2025. Theme for this year's NCC PM rally is Yuva Shakti Viksit Bharat. A cultural program by more than 800 cadets showcasing commitment of NCC towards nation building will be performed on the day. Participation by 144 young cadets from 18 friendly foreign countries will add fervor to this year's rally. Over 650 volunteers from Mera Yuva Bharat, Education Ministry and Tribal Affairs from across the nation will also attend the NCC PM rally as special guests. And moving on to resume bilateral engagements with China, India's Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri is on a 2-day visit to Beijing, during which he will hold talks with Chinese officials in the second such high-profile visit from India to China in less than 1.5 months. The resumption of this bilateral mechanism flows from the agreement at the leadership level to discuss the next steps for India-China relations, including in the political, economic and people-to-people domains. The visit of Misri, who was also a former ambassador in China, is taking place ahead of the celebration of China's Spring Festival and the Chinese New Year beginning on January 29th, during which the country will officially shut down for a week. And with an aim to give further impetus to the free trade agreement talks between India and Oman, India's Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal will visit Muscat starting on Monday. During the 2-day visit, the Commerce and Industry Minister will hold the 11th Joint Commission meeting with Oman's Commerce, Industry and Investment Promotion Minister Qais bin Mohammed bin Musa Al Yusuf. The two leaders are expected to hold wide-ranging discussions on trade and investment and the global economic situation. The talks on India-Oman Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, SEPA, which are at an advanced stage, are likely to get further impetus during the visit. Both sides are negotiating and exploring a commercially significant, balanced, equitable, ambitious and mutually beneficial SEPA. On the sidelines, the minister is expected to meet Oman's finance minister and chairperson of the Ministerial Committee for SEPA, Sultan bin Salim Al Habsi, apart from holding interactions with representatives of Oman industry and Indian community. Well, the North Indian state of Uttarakhand is all set to implement the Uniform Civil Code on Monday, making it the first state to make it a law. State Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami, in a statement, said the UCC will bring uniformity in society while ensuring equal rights and responsibility for all citizens. The UCC seeks to establish a uniform and equal set of rules on marriage, divorce, succession and inheritance for all citizens in the state except the scheduled tribes, irrespective of religion. It makes the registration of all marriages and live-in relationships mandatory. Well, the Uniform Civil Code, or the UCC Act, was notified on March 12, 2024 after presidential assent. And now to all the latest from the Mahakumbh, the largest gathering of humans on the planet. Well, the Mahakumbh has witnessed over 132 million devotees taking a holy dip at the confluence of the rivers Ganga, Yamuna and Saraswati so far. India's Home Minister Amit Shah will visit Prayagraj on Monday to take a holy dip at Triveni Sangam. The Home Minister is expected to meet several saints including Shankaracharya Puri and Shankaracharya Dwarka. Meanwhile, a sea of devotees has arrived converging in Prayagraj for the Mahakumbh ahead of the Amrit Snan on Mauni Amavasya on Wednesday. Devotees brave cold, wave and fog conditions to take the holy dip. The Mahakumbh, one of the largest religious gatherings in the world, is held every 12 years with the year's event expected to host over 450 million visitors by the end on February 26th. And for more, we have Akshay Dongre joining us from Prayagraj. Well, Akshay, what are the main highlights from there, especially with Amrit Snan approaching a day after?
Well, Lipakshi, a lot of preparations have been kick-started by the authorities here, given the fact that there are going to be several hundred million people who will be coming here to attend the Amrit Snan. Now, what is Amrit? It means nectar in Hindi, and there is a belief in the Hindu religion that people who come here at the Sangam or the confluence of Ganga, Yamuna and Saraswati river and take a bath in this confluence, then they wash their sins away, or it also gives them to restart their life with a fresh outlook as far as people are concerned. And that is why several 100,000 people are going to gather here, and in fact we have the numbers of people who have come here, and the latest number is from Friday that over 108 million people had visited Mahakumbh till Friday, and you add a couple of days more, then the number can be very well going beyond 120 or 130 million people who have already come here and have taken a dip in the holy confluence now. But the number of people who are gathering here is not coming down, it's in fact going further up. In fact, if you look in front of me, that is the nose of the confluence, which means that from one side Yamuna river comes and from another side Ganga river comes and meets at that particular confluence, and that is one of the most important places where people can take bath, and there is not a place for a person to in fact walk there, let alone the traffic. But it is magnificent that despite so many people coming here, the arrangements are still standing. The arrangements, be it food, be it water, be it transportation, security, everything is running smoothly. The authorities are managing so many people quite well, and in fact just ahead of Amrit Snan, the cleanliness drive has started. In fact, if you look at the beaches or the banks of the river where people are walking, there is not even a single garbage or a single incident of littering that is taking place, and that is all thanks to the awareness drive that has been started, the kind of work that the sanitation workers are putting in, the countless hours that they have also invested as far as making this Mahakumbh a clean and a safe environment for the people as well. Besides the sanitation drive, there is also the healthcare agencies that are working round the clock with ambulances being on standby 24/7, doctors and health camps being set up in different parts of the area. There are lost and found centers that are helping people get together with their loved ones in case they get separated in all of this crowd and chaos. So if you can see, there are a lot of boats as well that are in fact crossing people from one bank of the river to another, because it's quite difficult as far as going to one place to another through cars are concerned. So to the people or the devotees who wish to come here, there are certain advisories that have been issued by the police that traffic will remain affected. In fact, in the inner circle of Kumbh, where the major banks are, their vehicles will not be allowed, so they will have to park it outside and will have to walk for some kilometers at least to reach the area. But we have been talking to the people and getting their experiences, and despite the hardship that people are putting in, it is all worth it once they come here and take a dip in the holy confluence of Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati rivers here at the Mahakumbh, which is in fact the largest religious gathering ever held in the entire world.
All right, Akshay, thank you so much for all those details from there. Well, Mahakumbh 2025 witnessed a special fusion of Indian and Greek cultural heritage where Penelope from Greece and an Indian national Siddharth decided to tie the knot during the religious congregation in Prayagraj, Uttar Pradesh. According to the groom, the couple decided to perform the marriage in the most authentic manner, and Prayagraj currently is the best place in the whole universe for this. And now let's take a look at other stories making news today. At least 3 landmines exploded due to a forest fire along the line of control in Poonch district on Sunday. The explosion occurred due to a forest fire that erupted in Mendher forest of Poonch district in Jammu and Kashmir. A team was immediately rushed to the spot to douse the flames, through no damage was reported. Southern state of Kerala's Thrissur city police has inaugurated state's first AI-powered CCTV analysis system, revolutionizing the field of video surveillance. The AI-powered CCTVs will improve accuracy and efficiency. Indian Meteorological Department forecast cold wave conditions over northern state of Himachal Pradesh, Rajasthan and Punjab on Monday, whereas dense fog situations are very likely to prevail in isolated pockets of northern state of Uttar Pradesh, eastern state of Odisha and northeastern state of Assam, Meghalaya, Nagaland, Manipur, Mizoram, Tripura till Tuesday. And still to come on DD India News Hour. In sports, Indian Army will take on Indo-Tibetan Border Police in the final of ice hockey at Khelo India Winter Games. R. Pragananda and D. Gukesh settle for draw in Tata Steel Masters, share lead with 5.5 points.
Welcome to Jaipur.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Khurana. On to some sports news now. Indian Army will take on Indo-Tibetan Border Police in the final of men's ice hockey at Khelo India Winter Games in Leh on Monday. Earlier, Indian Army became the first team to enter the final. The defending champions warded off a stiff challenge from host Ladakh to win a thriller 2-1. Meanwhile, Ladakh enjoyed tremendous home support. They opened the scoring in the 13th minute, but Ladakh allowed 2 soft goals to let the Army take control of the match. In another match, IDBP defeated Himachal Pradesh 3-1 to set a mouth-watering title clash. And for more on the Winter Games, we have Abhishek Mahajan joining us from Leh. Well, Abhishek, what do you think were the key moments or strategies that allowed the Indian Army to overcome Ladakh and secure their place in the finals?
Yes, Lipakshi, they are the best team in this tournament, and they are the defending champions also. If you see last time around, Army and ITBP, they had played the final, so it's the repeat of the 2024 finals. Once again, Army has done well, although they lost to ITBP in the league game that they played 2 days ago. Now Army versus ITBP, it will be a big game. And remember, Lipakshi, I mean, they have a fan park also for this particular game. People who cannot enter the stadium, they have a giant screen in place, so that people who are not able to enter the stadium, they can watch the match in the giant screen. And I haven't seen that crowd in the entire tournament, Lipakshi, when the ITBP played against Army. So you expect a full house again. It will be a jam-packed again. But yes, talking about Khelo India Winter Games medals tally, Lipakshi, Maharashtra is at the top, Ladakh is at number 2, and Tamil Nadu at number 3. It can change today because a lot of finals will be played today. But yes, Maharashtra is leading the tally right now.
All right, Abhishek. Also, what are the strengths of both the teams, if we talk about them, and what can we expect from this highly anticipated match?
Army, Lipakshi, they are the defending champions, like I said, and they have been doing well in the tournament, and it's the Army team of the Ladakh regiment here. They practice throughout the year here. 2-3 months they practice on the real ice, so it will be quite interesting. And same for the ITBP also. Both the teams are local, so like I said earlier, so 3 teams are in contention for the finals: Army, ITBP and Ladakh. So we witnessed a thriller between Army and Ladakh yesterday when Army defeated Ladakh 2-1. So it was a nail-biting encounter, but yes, Army overcame Ladakh. But yes, talking about the strength, there are quite a few players who are playing for India. They are the part of the national ice hockey team, and same goes for the ITBP also. So it will be a big match, big game, and everyone in Ladakh, in Leh here, waiting for that game, and it will start at 11 a.m. Indian Standard Time.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Abhishek, for all those details from Leh. And moving on, Grandmaster R. Pragananda played out a solid draw with world champion D. Gukesh in the 8th round of the Tata Steel Masters on Sunday. Playing the white side of a Berlin defence, Pragananda had slightly favourable position optically, but Gukesh was always on guard to defend. It was in the early middle game that Gukesh sacrificed a pawn to get his counterplay rolling. And even though Pragananda tried to make use of it, the game was always closer to a draw. Now, with the draw, it is likely that both Pragananda and Gukesh will continue to share the lead on 5.5 points. And Poland's record goal scorer Eva Peja scored twice as Barcelona beat Real Madrid 5-0 to win its 4th consecutive Women's Spanish Super Cup title. Caroline Graham Hansen, Alexia Putellas and Patricia Guijaro also got their names on the score sheet as the Blaugrana clinched their 5th Super Cup title and the first under head coach Per Romeo. Interestingly, Barca's men's team also won the Super Cup against Real Madrid early this month. It is the second time after 2023 that both the men's and the women's team of Barcelona has won the Spanish Super Cup, and the first time they beat Real Madrid in both the finals. Well, the inaugural edition of the Women Hockey India League came to an end with Odisha Warriors lifting the title in Ranchi on Sunday. They secured a hard-fought 2-1 victory over Surma Hockey Club in the finals. Rutuja Dadaso Pisal gave the Warriors lead in the second quarter, but Penny Squeb equalized for Surma soon after. However, Rutuja found the back of the net again as the game came to a close and sealed the victory. It was a high-intensity clash right from the start. Both the teams contested the game in equal measure, but it was Rutuja Pisal who ensured the Warriors got hold of the glitzy trophy. Well, the Indians across the globe celebrated the 76th Republic Day with great pride and enthusiasm. India's permanent representative to the United Nations, P. Harish, unfurled the tricolour at the Permanent Mission of India to the United Nations office in New York to celebrate the Republic Day. India's ambassador to the United States, Vinay Quadra, unfurled the national flag and relayed President's address to the nation at India House to celebrate the 76th Republic Day of India. Members of Indian diaspora participated enthusiastically in the festivities. Consulate General of India in Hamburg, Germany also celebrated the 76th Republic Day 2025 with pride. Around 300 members of consulate gathered to unfurl the tricolour, united in chants of Bharat Mata Ki Jai and a shared vision for a Viksit Bharat in Amrit Kal. Indian ambassador to Germany, Ajit Gupte, flagged off a car rally in Berlin to commemorate India's 76th Republic Day. Around 50 cars embarked on a route covering historic capital Berlin. Held after several years, the car rally signified growing Indian diaspora and expanding people-to-people ties, a key pillar of India-Germany strategic partnership. The Indian naval ship Trikand, a frontline frigate of the Indian Navy, marked India's 76th Republic Day with a special ceremony at Salalah, Oman. The event included the hoisting of the national flag and naval ensign, followed by the singing of the national anthem. A guard of honour was also conducted, reflecting India's maritime strength and commitment to peace and security in the region. And now let's show you a giant panda, Lingyan, frolicked in the snow, delighting visitors at a wildlife park in China's Luoyang as a heavy snow transformed the zoo into a wonderland. In the midst of the winter wonderland, Lingyan leaped, tumbled in the snow and danced with charm. Take a look. All right, that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. Well, we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Lipakshi Khurana from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour.